My uncle saw a ghost that corroborated an actual event. Story 1. I still get chills thinking about this one. It is not my story, but the fact that my uncle said this happened astounded me. He is the last person in my family I would expect to hear this because he is a no-nonsense kind of guy. Paranormal experiences were the last subject I would ever think would come from him. My cousin relayed this story to me, and I followed up with him to verify everything. This was a long time ago, somewhere around the 70s, so some details were fuzzy. So, my uncle had a married friend that he hung out with on occasion. They usually drank beers, watched football, your usual guy time kind of stuff. So, one day he is over and watching a football game. The friend's wife is in the kitchen and occasionally making small talk with him. His friend is off somewhere outside or somewhere away from the events that played out. At one point, my uncle is on the couch relaxing and watching the football game. He is in that state where you are just absent-mindedly watching television and casually paying attention to the environment. Out of nowhere, this figure of a young man in blue jeans passes in front of my uncle, between him and the television, and turns right into the hallway which leads to their bedrooms. My uncle does not think much of it, other than, "Oh, someone else is here." He chalks it up to someone that was invited, and not long after, something breaks him from his state, probably a commercial or something. So, he turns to the friend's wife and says, "Hey, who is over here?" "What?" "The guy that just passed in front of me in blue jeans." "What are you talking about?" "I saw him just a moment ago. He passed right in front of me and turned down the hallway into the bedrooms." His wife gets this weird look on her face, then calls loudly for her husband. The husband comes either from the upstairs or inside the front door. "What are you yelling about? Is something wrong? Tell him." So, my uncle relays what he saw to his friend, and his friend goes, "What are you talking about? There is no one else here." The wife gives him this look like she wants him to say something, and he is looking back like, "What?" "Well, tell him already. He does not need to know about that." "Was he a young guy?" the wife asks my uncle. "Yes, he looked young. He had a t-shirt on, I guess a plain shirt with no writing or anything." It is at this point that my uncle realizes that the person was not completely solid. He was not exactly transparent, he was not a shadow, but it is hard to explain. He was a figure that resembled a young man. So, his friend, now looking a bit freaked out, tells him that a young man used to rent this house way before them, somewhere around the 50s, and for one reason or another, shot himself in the head. The bullet even ended up lodged in the roof of the home. Even more eerily, the man had shot himself in the back bedroom, the same area my uncle saw him walking towards. Story 2. I have remarried now, but this happened on the honeymoon with my first wife. We went to Charleston, South Carolina, and it was a great decision. The old wrought iron fences and cobblestone streets were so historic and interesting. So, me being a fan of ghost stories, I decided we would do a ghost walk one night. So, we do the ghost walk, and they are telling us interesting stories, showing spooky locations, and having a good time. We are even kind of laughing at details like, "Oh yes, I bet they saw something," and just being giggly newlyweds. So, we get to this part in the tour where there is this story about a struggle in an alleyway where one man killed another with a knife over some owed money or something of that nature. After the story, they add that every once in a while, along with the sightings or noises in the alleyway, people in their tour groups have experiences. They will feel a burning sensation on their leg, and will find a cut there as if someone sliced them with a knife. We looked at each other like, yes, sure. They probably had one too many drinks. It is spooky tales, but I do not actually believe in ghosts and do not take it seriously. So we are going along further into the tour and I feel an itching sensation on my leg. I figured a mosquito got me because I am an absolute magnet for those horrible things and I scratch it. It did not feel good after I scratched it. It actually got more of a burning sensation, almost like they described people in tour groups did. No, I am not psyching myself out, I said inwardly. I know the mind can play tricks on you, and I was not going to fall for that. So, I ignored the feeling, maybe just a muscle cramp from walking around all day, who knows. We finish up the tour, and I am ignoring it, but it is in the back of my mind. We get back to the hotel, and I decide to at least look at my leg because maybe I scraped it on something and did not realize. Believe it or not, there is a red mark on my leg in a straight line. It did not exactly resemble a cut, more, something rough, maybe scraped up against my leg. It is not bleeding, but the skin is very obviously irritated. So, I am a bit freaked out, but I brush it off. The next morning the mark is barely visible. Story 3. This one is short but sweet. I worked for a company that took customer service calls for DirecTV. Because I did well, they placed me in the new customer department. It was not a great job, but it beat working in collections as I did before, which was the absolute worst. Anyway, part of taking new customer calls means sometimes you get people who want to move their service or cancel it because things are not working out. I get this call today, and this guy wants to move his service. All I do from here is get some basic information to jot down and pass him on to the other department. So I am chatting with him casually, trying to warm him up for the next caller, and I ask, "So, is there a reason for the service being moved that I can notate?" "Well, it is because we had to move somewhere else." "I am sorry to hear that. I hope everything goes well for you." "Oh, we are moving to a better place, that is for sure." "Why is that?" So the customer proceeds to tell me that I may or may not believe him, but his apartment he moved to recently is haunted, and they are moving because they cannot handle it. Really? Wow, that is so wild. If you do not mind me asking, what kind of stuff is happening? So apparently one of the rooms would inexplicably have music coming from it, like from the 1940s, and even sounds like it is played on a record player. No one will be in there, and they will hear voices talking like they are having a conversation. If they go in and investigate, whatever is happening stops. I told him how that was creepy, and I would be moving too if something like that happened, and transferred him to the other department. I believe him. Anyone could easily say he is lying to maybe get a free service move or something, but here is the thing. If you wanted your service moved for free, why would you make up something that sounds so implausible? You could have 1,000 reasons for moving that would be better received than a haunting, so he could not have told me for that reason. Besides, I am not even the department that moves service to other locations. Wherever he is, I hope I never end up somehow moving there.